Let's settle for the details now. As managers of the 4 radio stations shut down by the National Communications Authority in Bawku say they will petition both the NCA and the National Media Commission over the closure. The NCA, in a statement dated February 24th, 2024, said it has shut down Bawku FM, Source FM, Sahara FM and Guma FM in Bawku in the Upper East region, citing their alleged contribution to the ongoing conflict through inflammable speech. Speaking to Joy News, General Manager of Guma FM, Nuruddin Guma, said the NCA did not engage them on any of the allegations, as he indicates they will pursue the matter.
I really don't have problem with NCA or national security closing radio stations in Bawku. The problem I have is that NCA issued letters for us. They gave us letters of authorization to start transmission. If they want to suspend, they need to just give us letters, and then we will close down. We would adhere to it. But yesterday we were there. They just called us and said, we have some letters for you. Then we were at the office. The next thing, over 40 military officers stormed our radio station and just forced us to open our transmitters hall, open our studios and other things. And when we opened, before they could hand over letters to us, they started removing our transmitters. And we thought that was not fair. The transmitter is not the property of NCA nor the national security. These are our property. What NCA has done is to give us authorization to broadcast. So they are saying that radio stations, including my radio station, we have been doing programs that they think that will affect the peace of Bawku. Yes, you know the problem, the radio stations in Bawku is either Kosasis or Mamprisus who are the owners of this. This is a fact. And we live in a society where we have a prolonged conflict from 2001 up to date. And when there is something and it's trending, national media is discussing it. We as local radio stations, of course, we will also discuss it. They block women around the Pusga district and kill. National media is discussing. We also discuss it. When we discuss it and we register our displeasure that the security should be doing more than they are doing, then there's a problem that we are discussing Bawku chieftaincy matter. So they are not being very fair with us. We are discussing the issue just like any other media house will discuss these issues.
So you suspect one of those discussions that's caused...
Yes, because constantly we have had, one side of the fusion vaccine you have been using it to, insult the chief of the area and then say things that are not welcoming and that kind of thing.
Let's get talking, and joining me on the phone is the Director of Consumer and Corporate Affairs, Nana Defie Badu, for more on this. Welcome to the program. Tell us what led to the closure of these radio stations. Were they invited for discussions on why their stations needed to be closed down?
Thank you, and then good morning. Thanks for having me to explain what the NCA did on Saturday. So the NCA received a letter from the National Security. The National Security had done some investigations, and I believe we are all aware of what's going on in Bawku. And based on the monitoring and then the investigations that the National Security had done, they had come to the realization that some of the actions of these 4 radio stations, right, had actually led to some situations, some negative situations, if I may call it that way, right, resulting in some loss of lives and some properties. So based on that, National Security informed the NCA, and I should say that the NCA, under Section 13(1)(e) of the Electronic Communications Act, the NCA invoked its powers, and then the Act states, and let me read it here for you. It says that the authority may suspend or revoke a license or frequency authorization where the suspension or revocation is necessary because of national security or is in the public interest. I think it's also important for us to note that the NCA does not monitor content. Okay. And so we work with the national security based on their
intelligence
actions or their intelligence to maintain peace within that area. So that is what happened on Saturday.
Right. We spoke to one of the general managers of the radio stations. He said they have been unfairly treated because they were not informed prior to the shutdown. Did you inform them before shutting down the radio stations?
experience has given us some form of what we would call some standard operating procedures. And in most areas where we are likely to face some negative action from the people, it is very important that to maintain peace within for the shutdown period, we do not give prior notice. I believe that you will understand with me that sometimes if you give these prior notice, we would go there and that probably results in some clash or some negative behaviors there. But that is our standard operating procedure for shutting down a station.
Okay, thank you very much for your time this morning. Now, meanwhile, the development has already sparked reactions among residents who say they are unhappy with the actions of the NCA.
NCA have something, every radio station have something we call Skype, that they can sit wherever they are to monitor the radio station, their programs, and whatever they are doing. So they could have get people to monitor this radio station, get to know the corporate, and then sanction them accordingly. But if you wait, and now that 2 to 3 months now, we have not recorded any violence in the Bawku enclave, and you are closing radio stations in Bawku because of the conflict in Bawku. What about Wale Wale? What is happening there? Yesterday, as I speak, a car was attacked in Wale Wale, and people were injured badly. Wale Wale is now becoming more crime scene than Bawku, but nothing, no curfew, no arrests have been happening there. But if it is because of the Bawku conflict that NCA is closing it, I thank them for that. But they have to also know that there are some other things they have to do. Facebook is one of the dangerous tools that has escalated the Bawku conflict up to this point. We're having Facebook account, Sibdo account called the Moshinaba, the Bawku links, who have caused more violence, who have caused a lot of life that have lost in Bawku. They will post your picture, next 2-3 days you are killed. They will post your picture, next 3-5 days you are killed, turning people to motherless, turning people to fatherless, and yet they cannot investigate and arrest these civil accounts, but they are rather closing radio stations. Right now, some people during curfew hours can even besiege a community and kill 3, 4, 5. About last year, some people besieged a community called Barre and killed 8 individuals at a go. Some went to and killed women during curfew hours. And because we have radio station, if something like that is happening and we speak or we talk through the radio, it will create attention. Everybody will be aware. The meeting will run and go. But now we are doomed, like a blind man pulling a blind man. So
let's stay a while on this issue and get on Zoom and speak with my colleague in the Upper East region, Albert Sori, on the situation there. Albert, do we know what led to the closure of these 4 radio stations? What has been the reaction of residents?
Yeah, so one of the things that is often talked about when the Bawku conflict is being discussed is how some radio stations, use certain programs and invite panelists and sometimes phone-in contributors to talk about the conflict. And sometimes the comments that are made tend to incite people against each other. This discussion has been ongoing for some time. And so I know that in the past, there were even attempts to close down some stations. So this is not the first time this is happening. And so I believe that this recent closure has been coming for a long time, except that the nature of how the radio stations were closed down didn't, go down well with a lot of people, especially since the radio stations were not given prior notice before they were closed down. Some of them were running their programs, and all of a sudden, military men came in and removed their transmitters before serving them letters which told them why they were being closed down. And so this is why some people think that there should have been prior notice, there should have been some form of discussion with the radio station managers, the owners, etc.
Well, Albert, we spoke to the authorities this morning, and they mentioned that they did not give them prior notice because there could have been some form of resistance. That's why they failed to give prior notice. But help us understand how big these radio stations are and how it is impacting residents today.
Yeah, so Bawku is not such a big town, but these radio stations are located at various areas. A lot of them are community radio stations in nature, and so they tend to have just community coverage. And these are the programs, the radio stations that have programs that detain the people and also give them information. So because of that, it will sort of take away something from the people, because although some of them get to listen to national networks on TV, etc., these are the radio stations that also have programs that are tailored for the local audience in local languages and so on and so forth. So now they are going to be denied that, and this is how it's going to affect.
Right, Albert Soare is our resident correspondent in the Upper East region. Thank you very much.